In this video I have a little Digitor television. This would have been sold by Dick Smith. And I bought it as not running, but of course they had their label right over the front here to say it wasn't running. Didn't realise just how bad the LCD was on it. It was in a not the best lit area, so I didn't even notice the little bit of damage that was poking out underneath. So this may not be much good for anything after all, but I think, don't know whether that's heat or some sort of chemicals got in there. I mean, it's pretty well sealed. Maybe it's been out in the sun too much, but people are sort of saying online that some of these LCD early computers or maybe portable video games and stuff, the screens in them are starting to do this sort of thing, so they're delaminating or something, or the chemicals are reacting, or the plastics are breaking down or something. But it's kind of a cool little unit, just an LCD television. It's probably around the 3 to 4 inch size. And I did look them up. Dick Smith was selling them from around 2000 to 2005 as a kind of outdoor, somewhat waterproof thing. So it's got a bit of a seal there, rubbery feeling seal. They come in a yellow one as well. Not sure if they did any other colours. They just picture either yellow or white in their catalogues. Volume, brightness, channel, VHF, UHF power. It's got an antenna built onto it. So that alone was probably worth buying it for a multi-element antenna. What is it? A LC-407 made in Taiwan. I think G7210 was the catalogue number. Power rating 6 volt DC at 700 milliamps. It's quite a bit to pull from 4 D-size batteries. So this must have a battery holder here. And 0 to 12 channel in VHF, 28 to 69. On UHF should be this normal Australian bands. No, yeah, so quite a bit of the thickness of this thing is actually just a battery holder. That might be a good way to hook power in. I did see some other sockets here. What is that? That's just a screw hole there, I think. Is that... don't know why they've got a... it's just a threaded bit of brass, but we've got DC in, 6 volts in. So not the most useful if you're going to use it in a car or something, but I guess you can get a 12 volt to 6 volt adapter, earphone, AV in, so we do have AV at least. Do we have an antenna socket on this thing? Not looking like it. That's a bit strange not to have an external antenna. So it's only really going to be good for high signal areas, so maybe you could hook an external onto that and maybe do something. Looks like the screws there have got sealers over them. Yeah, we've got a gasket around here, so it is kind of made to be, I think they showed it as a poolside TV or something. But rather than try and find one of those small DC connectors, and it doesn't tell you which one's positive, which one's negative, which is very annoying when it doesn't say whether it's tip positive or negative. I mean, a lot of the time they're positive, but not always. So that's not the best. Now a couple of these, well, that's not going to be joined to that. Not joined to that. They're joined together. So they just have a wire between them, so that would be the negative and that would be the positive. So let's just hook onto that. Be a lot easier. Oh, we're already on 6 volts, that's handy. So that one, can we get the clip lead? I can always jam it in there. Probably not ideal, but oh, something's making a noise. Oh, it looks like it's got auto tuning. Yeah, pretty yellowy display, but it's actually better than I expected in some ways with all that crystalline stuff over it. I might have to pull that apart and see if that can be removed. I think there's other stuff, just the label that they put on it when they sold it. So it is kind of a working TV, it's just a damaged, pretty dodgy putting the label right where the damage is. But anyway, it was only $10, so I don't think I'll take it back for a refund. It kind of make a good little shelf unit just to look at, since it's kind of a cool looking little unit. But that's not going to pick up anything by the look of it. Let's get the pattern generator. See if we can get something out of this. It's not going to be ideal probably, since we can only hook on through the antenna. Well, we got something there. Well, that ain't much good. That's it though. Do I keep press channel to keep tuning? Well, it's not exactly picking up a good signal, is it? Oh, I've got a checkerboard pattern of sorts. Ooh, what's going on there? We're missing some lines on the... Well, the other one looked alright. There's no missing lines on the checkerboard pattern. Maybe that's just because it's not tuned right. There's the dots, they're missing a line as well. That's meant to be colour bars. Let's try it on the other channel. Wouldn't think it would have a tuner fault, but you never know with these things. But again, we are only hooked through a clip lead. That's slight. Is it slightly? What is it? Oh, it's almost tuning in. It's meant to be colour though. Still plenty of noise in the sound. So it doesn't tune in properly. Assuming my pattern generator is still working 100%, which it was last time I tried it. It's not much difference whether it's hooked up to the antenna or not. Yeah, it really isn't, is it? Well, that's a bit weird. I wonder if this antenna's hooked up properly. That's almost a good picture now. Besides, we've got bits missing off some of this. Don't think we've got any fine tuning, which is not much good. Can't seem to get colour. I guess the question is, let's turn that right off, that'll be interfering. I've got a 3.5mm, is that one of those 4-pin ones like most stereo TVs at least have? Or is it a 3-way? Let's try a 3-way in so it automatically switches as you'd expect. Turn the pattern generator back on. Well, that would be the audio. I'm putting the video into audio. That's what it sounds like. There we go. I've got colour there at least. Do we have any adjustments? This doesn't have a menu, so this must have had a remote with it. So without a remote, it's not the most useful because we haven't got any menu to adjust anything. We don't. Maybe there's fine tuning on the remote. There's kind of a whitey thing around there. It's like it's been attacked by a chemical, but it could just be the sun. I guess the fact it's yellowed would suggest sun damage. Yeah, kind of yellow patches on it. It's certainly done a bit of work by the look of it. Oh, I guess we can pull it apart and have a look. See if we can do anything with it, make it any better. Maybe I can peel that piece of plastic off or something. That's always another option with these sort of things. If we can get it apart easily, we're going to have to poke something down to get those. I assume they're rubbery. Oh, just went straight through it. Did they come out? I think I just poked it in deeper. That's handy. Oh yeah, I did. Maybe you meant to tip it sideways. Yeah, that'd be right. Sometimes you can get them and sort of jam your screwdriver into them like that, which I think just pushed it right down the bottom. It certainly didn't grab hold of it. Let's see if we can tip this other one over. I think that's what you were meant to do. Yeah, it's rotated, but do I have anything that'll put down there and grab it? So I might have stuffed the other one up a bit. Yeah, that's kind of what you were supposed to do. There's the screw. The other one we're going to have to try and get something much finer down and roll it a bit. Oh, it came right out. Oh well. That worked even better. And I saw a couple of screws down inside the battery compartment. Best place to put them, I guess, if you're going to waterproof it. Ooh, that came apart a little bit more subtly than I thought. all that I expected. That looks like our backlight connector. Oh, it's two different ones. So pink on the top, blue on the bottom. Whether that matters, I don't know. So, backlight inverter, straight into the backlight connectors. There's our tuner, actually made in Japan. Bit of a rusty screw there. LCD-407, 85W1102 revision 2, 1999. 31st of the 5th, 99, LWE 99. That was probably when they designed the board. More than when they necessarily manufacture this thing, because it's printed on the circuit board. Where'd my other screw go? It's still in there. Oh, it was. So the model LCD-407, LCD-407, so that is its proper sort of model number, I guess. But when this particular one was built, who knows? But this looks quite simple to work on. We've got a speaker mounted on some weird stuff there. I'm not quite sure what they're doing there. But we're going to get that out of the way by the look of it. So it's probably a plastic fronted speaker or something. I think it did look plasticky so that it can handle a bit of water. Made in Japan on the LCD as well. So maybe it is a Japanese thing. They're just assembling in Taiwan. That does not want to come out. Do I have to get it out? It looks like it should have to come out, so it may be sealed fairly well. Oh, there goes our rubber seal. Speaking of seals, let's see if we can get this thing apart. I don't know if I even need to take that second bit off. I probably don't actually, probably just need to take the outer screws. I was just thinking it might catch on something, but probably not. Definitely had some liquid in here to some degree. Yeah, in some ways it probably is better without them in there. Can I get that to lift? That's it. That's how we do it. So we've got two backlight connections. Yeah, that's very rough. So what have we got here? PCOV P0032 LQ4RB21. I wonder if that's something to do with who made it. Made in Japan. So the PCOV. Oh, it's a Sharp. Well, I wasn't expecting that. But maybe that early on, it must be an early Sharp Aquos type LCD TV. I did actually do a training course on their Aquos, I think they were called. Aquos, something like that. LCD televisions when they first came out. Quite a nice TV they were, but super expensive when they first came out. They were the early ones with, I think they had a separate electronics box as well as the LCD panel part. Yeah, I wasn't expecting it to be a Sharp of all things. But yeah, they didn't make bad televisions, Sharp. What happens if we undo all this stuff? Well, that one isn't coming. It's not bringing its double-sided tape with it. But yeah, it was quite a few years later that Sharp put those things out. It must have been around 2004, 2005, I think. I can't remember what year that training course thing was on those. But first decent look I had at an LCD television. And learning about some of the tech behind them. Probably shouldn't prize on that, but I want to kind of know if this is a layer that can be peeled off or anything. God, these are going to disintegrate, I think. to some degree. Not really designed to come apart, which not surprising. Now, who knows how many years they actually ran this thing for. If they've just chucked it out, it might have been up until recently. Yeah, that is definitely a layer on it, I think. But whether it's a, what's the word I want? Not a diffuser, a polarizer or something. Because you can't just peel a polarizer off an LCD display and live without it, unfortunately. Tell you what, it does not want to come off. You've got to be super careful you don't damage the display underneath or anything, or crack anything. Chances are it's a, oh, here we go. Chances are it's going to come off and all the glue's going to get ruined on the back of it if it does. Probably a polarizer as well. Yeah, it's going to ruin everything. It's just going to leave a glue layer below. So, oh, that's what's happened then. I wonder if that's actually what's happened. That's delaminated, because I'm getting the same effect. Look at that. I wonder if you could take this off and clean it. Let's see if I can get this display running like this. Be careful, those high voltage lamps are just hanging out in the open there. Don't know what sort of current these things put out, but I don't intend to find out either. Not sure they're fatal, but probably don't feel very nice. But best if you just treat everything as potentially a fatal shock hazard. Yeah, if we peel that off, we lose our colours. There's no colour bar under there. Yeah, we're just literally removing the picture. Oh, at least I know that's the issue. So I guess the only thing I can do, well, now that I've peeled a bit of it off, let's see if that glue comes off, I guess. Don't know if a bit of methyl or something will get it off. But this is what they've done with modern sort of technology to basically ensure it gets written off these days. It's slowly coming, that glue, I think, but very slowly. I'll try some of that label, remove the orange stuff. Don't know that that's doing any better either. Sometimes you've got to leave it on there for a while. Oh, I can see a little bit of silver coming through maybe. Dare I put it on the actual display? I probably shouldn't, but that is going to be a job from hell, I think, to get that clean. If it even comes clean. And is that even going to fix the bit that had the main damage? I'm not sure it is. Really got nothing to lose, so I'm just going to peel it off and see. I guess the real, oh, some of it actually came right off, so that's good. The question is, can we get this bit clean? Let's just carefully, you do have to be a bit careful mixing different chemicals together along with an unknown. Oh, look at that, that's killing it now. You just got to leave it on there for a bit by the look of it. That's eating it off. Well, at least the bulk of it. Certainly leaving plenty behind too. Try not to let it go down inside the LCD, because who knows what else it's going to eat off with something that's all layers of stuff glued together, like an LCD panel. only seems to like attack a thin layer at a time, I think, is the problem with a lot of this glue. Just attacks the surface. You've got to remove that before it gets any deeper into the next bit. Tempted to use a scourer or something, and you possibly could on this glass. Especially since it's a bit of a thick layer of glue anyway, so maybe a scourer won't even touch the glass at all anyway, I don't think, because it's quite a bit of glue to get through. That is the job from hell. Such a thick layer. I hate cleaning these sort of things, absolute pain. And I'm not sure how much pressure I can get away with exerting on a LCD panel. Probably not a lot, I wouldn't think, but oh, then again, we're getting through it now. We are cutting through now, finally. Wow, that is really thick. Horrible stuff. What a mess. Yeah, we're starting to soak into it now. I think it's coming quicker and quicker. Probably would have paid to replace the scourer because it tends to get clogged with glue and smear it everywhere, and then it still just smears all over the place till the very end. And keep refreshing your paper towel because that just gets covered in it. We're nearly there now. Just smearing. And there's stuff on the edge here too. Well, look at it. God. Crud everywhere. Oh, that would have been the glue from the bit I peeled off, that little felt thing around the edge. And we get the last bit with a bit of methyl or something. Try and polish that off nicely. Cleaned it off, but all that damage is actually on the outer side. So even though it looked like the glue, it's not. It's done some very weird thing where it's got lines and then it gets a lot worse there. So this has pretty well had its day. So I might see if I can get any more replacement polarizing screen. I don't know if this is the same as the normal LCDs as in the monochrome ones, but I get a funny feeling I have actually replaced one on something before or seen that you could replace it or something. Okay, just got this thing running again because some diffusers showing up. Just looking, definitely some yellowy patches or browny patches or something on the screen. Guess that could be something to do with the backlights as well. And I end up getting a piece just the right sort of size. There we go, I can already see the image. Even better that way, I think. It goes a bit different depending which way you rotate it. Not sure one side of this is sticky. So it goes wrong way that way, so let's hope that side is the sticky side, I guess, because I think that's the right way. And I originally went to order like a sheet of 150 by 150 millimeters off eBay, and they, for some reason, they reckon they couldn't send it to me, or not quickly or something. So I had another look on there, found this piece for $4 posted, and it's actually designed for a iPhone 7 Plus, I think it was. I thought it's got to be about the right width because I looked up what size those screens were on the iPhone. So that is the kind of thing we want. It looks better off at a bit of a distance maybe. Is that my imagination? Maybe not. Guess we might hook up a pattern generator again just to double check this thing. Oh, yep. Hopefully that shows up in the screen a bit without too much reflections. Oh, there it is. So that gives us colour bars. That munts it up a bit. Oh, look at that. I hope these phones aren't polarised. It actually works best there. On a diagonal. That's what I was worried about. They may not be completely suitable. So that should be a white screen, but it looks a bit blue there. At least it looks... But the white looks white there. The white looks blue there. Red. You definitely need to be there to get the red. I think I looked this thing up and it didn't look like there was any remote for this. So how do you adjust the colour and stuff? If you do it this way, we can't get the red by the look of it. But if we go that way, on the right angle, that gives us a red screen, a very dark one, but the dot and crosshatch are the wrong way around. That should be a black background with white lines. Like, no, like that. Oh, there's the... that's the position then. Goes to show you got to check everything. And there's some weird lines on there. I didn't notice before, so I don't know if that happened when I peeled things off. Yeah, that's better. So that's the position, not... Yeah, that position's no good for anything. That's just the pattern generator. Must fix that one day. So this has to go on a diagonal. Well, that's a right pain in the... So much more my $4. I knew it was a risk because it was made for a phone, so... Okay, got a new sheet of this stuff. And looks like we've got to go diagonal again. So I've marked it with an S for the sticky side down. It's got to be around there somewhere. So you've really got to get this the right way because look at that, the colours are inverted or something. Let's see, that's the diagonal. Image doesn't look the best for some reason. So I'm going to have to cut a bit, something like that, I guess. Sort of in like that, to get a rough idea. Lowercase t there, so I know that should be the top. Yeah, that's the one. Now, how do I need to cut this? I've cut it a bit too thin in places. Not wide enough. Okay, if we go with that line. Need to take a bit off there. A bit off there. Oops. Doesn't matter if it's perfect, I guess. A little bit more off the top. Should have really just measured it and done it with a square or something, but that'll do for what I need. And we're going to have to clean everything. Still a bit of stuff on there. So that's the sticky side. Getting this stuff off is fun, and then we're going to try and reduce the amount of bubbles in there. It's going to be fun. What's the best way to do this? I really want to leave it on if I can. I'll try not to touch those high voltage lamps. Oops. Try and push it on gradually. I've got some bubbling, but I think that's hopefully mainly just the outer layer, but we're getting a few marks there. I'm not sure what those are. Back it up a little bit. I'll just turn the power off. Getting a slight bit of bubbling, I think. Hopefully all these turn out to be in the upper protective sheet. Oops, there's a big one. I hope that's the upper sheet, I think. That is a massive bubble. It's not like this LCD's mint anyway, but it would be nice if we can get it perfect. I've missed a bit on the edge, have I? I know. A little bit short on one side, but that's just on the silver backing, or silver bit around it. Oh, it's actually coming on an angle here, that's why. Might just have to cut that edge bit off. Let's try and get this layer off. Here we go. There's a few marks there. What is that bit? Not perfect. And there we have it. Yeah, it's not bad. It's a little bright maybe on that. Red looks pretty even. A couple of little patches that aren't. But that's this sort of burning on the back of this thing. But yeah, it's back to a usable screen. A couple of places you can notice on the black a little bit of a mark there. So it's almost like bubbles, but I don't think they are actual bubbles. But certainly got it going again. And given this LCD is fairly cooked, I don't think it's going to matter too much. Now that we've got the outer bit going, let's have a look at what's going on the inside here. Is that going to be glued down? Very much so, I think. Yeah, maybe, oh, there's a circuit board in here. Let's take at least one of these mounts off. No, we're going to have to take all these mounts off, I think. Got an adjustment there. What does it say? VCO, voltage controlled oscillator, I guess. H position, VC DC. And so we've actually got a horizontal position adjustment. Good to know. Oh, I see. Oh, we're not going anywhere with that, are we? Because there's connectors everywhere. I guess that black bit's going to have to go. I'm not sure what holds it in there either. Is that little clips in there? Yeah, it's separate to that bit. It's not that screw. Oh, there we go, one end's come free. Maybe I should think about the obvious. It slides out. And there it is. Are we a bit yellowed here? Not really. It's slightly yellowed, I think, this thing. What holds that on? It's clipped into the sides or something. Oh yeah, there's little tabs. So yeah, we do have a couple of layers. That is a bit scratched looking, but other than that, not overly bad. I guess we could see how consistent the colour is of this. Like that back bit's kind of yellowed. Let's plug it in with no screen on it, but it's worth a check just to see. Yeah, they look pretty consistent. Whether they're as bright as they should be, who knows, but they're clean, not yellowed. I think there is one more screen in here, whether we can get that out easily. Clip is very tight. Now we have to be careful I don't break the LCD, I guess. Well, at least this set runs the backlight without an LCD connected. Oh no, tab fell off, typical. That's what you get with this sort of stuff. Yeah, perfectly clean, I think. Oh no, well actually you can, oh, we're actually seeing the lamps, is that what we're seeing? Yeah, so it is. So I wonder if it's this diffuser isn't diffusing properly. You can see these dark patches, unless it was always that bad, but I can't imagine it would have been. So it's not the actual LCD to blame. Is it the actual plastic? Because it does seem to be related to the plastic. So you can definitely, yeah, you can see the shape of the lamps. There's a dark patch there, dark patch down these middle bits. That's what this diffuser is meant to get rid of. Does this have any sort of markings on it? I don't know whether these, oh there you go, 540707 5B15 or 15. I wonder if they're available anywhere. What I found is, if I put this on something white, it looked alright to look through, but put it on something white, you can see the pattern of the lights there. Zigzag pattern, so the lights have actually basically cooked this plastic, probably the UV in them, so I'm going to leave that bit out. I'll just put this other clear bit in there. That comes on its own. Does that look more consistent, so I can still see some bands from the lights. Yeah, still nearly as bad, I think. It's oh, yeah, it definitely makes it worse though, not surprisingly. When you line it up with the right bits. So I might even leave that bit out, I think. Doesn't seem to make any difference to the picture besides that, but definitely gets rid of some of those lines. Where's our brightness? So it shows how much goes wrong with these things. Everything gets cooked in them. And I did turn our colour right up. Let's reduce that back to a bit better. I think it hits fully saturated around there anyway. Yeah, either way, we're not gonna fully get rid of those marks. You can really see where the tubes are. But getting rid of that one layer of plastic seems to improve it. So I think we'll leave that off this thing. Oops. The lamps are sliding out. I think I'll just put it back together like that and be done with it. Put our cover back on. That doesn't go that way. Even that's got a particular way to go back on. Put the screw back in. And better put all the mounts back on. Just give that one more clean now that it's going back in. I have to jiggle these around a little bit, I think. That's it. The kind of screw goes, the mount goes up inside the hole by the look of it, so it should drop in there like that. And that needs to slide backwards, I think. So they've got all sorts of play in them. That's it. That one I don't think is quite on. There we go. speaker. Get the speaker plugged in as well, easy to forget. Better check it before we do final assembly, I guess. And there we have it. Turn the light off a bit. Probably weren't the best out in the sunshine, but yeah, still see those lamps for sure, but I think they're slightly better than they were before. Still a bit of yellowy look on the whites. Still don't know why parts of my pattern generator image are missing. And that's actually a bit blue looking. Oh, only problem with not going right to the edge with the diffuser is now I can actually, if I tilt the screen, I can actually just see the edge of it. You can see the transition where it's not there. So that wasn't the best idea, but it gives a pretty decent contrast image. But once we start turning up the brightness, we're washing out the blacks and stuff anyway, depending what angle. So it actually does kind of adjust the angle of what the contrast is at any particular angle. Seems to vary a bit with the brightness.
Surrounded by its glorious park, makes it one of the outstanding houses.
Hopefully YouTube copyright doesn't pick up on that. But that's what it's like as a television. Problem with LCD's got to get the angle exactly right. But yeah, not looking too bad. Would have been nice if it had a contrast control really to control that a bit better. But a bit of a novelty thing. I don't think a lot of people would have bought these. And I only bought it as a novelty thing. Not as anything really practical. Can be handy to have small screens like this around, especially an LCD, because the CRT ones go back a mile. They're usually about 30 centimeters deep or something, if not more. And these are a nice little compact thing you can hang up somewhere just as a little video monitor. Would have been great for doing TV antenna installs and stuff back in the analog times. If you didn't have even if you did have a signal strength meter, couldn't always tell what ghosting and stuff you had, so something like this would have been handy. Probably not the best out in the bright sun and on a roof, but maybe when it was new it was a bit brighter. And yeah, bigger. I used to use a 10-inch one because at least you could see a bit of the picture. This wouldn't show up the faults as well. But anyway, that's got that thing sort of resurrected, we'll call it. But yeah, it's quite usable. I wouldn't call it a high quality picture. I'd actually prefer a little CRT to this, mainly because the viewing angle is pretty terrible on this, and it's got those backlight issues still. Wouldn't call it a great picture, but again, I think this one's had a lot of use or a lot of sun damage, one or the other. But it's going as good as I think we're going to get out of that one, so thanks for watching.